Hello, beautiful Scorpio family, and welcome to December 2020. This is a really powerful month, and there's a lot of shift. And the message that came up for Scorpio was really tender, very healing, very intimate. And even as I'm feeling it, I'm having emotions around this. I'm a really big fan of December's energy. It is quite potent, it is powerful. However, I think the thing to keep in mind with December, we have big things happening like Jupiter and Saturn moving into Aquarius. And that's a big deal because, first of all, they are meeting up and they are conjunct at the very beginning of their time in Aquarius. That's really just big energy. That's going to be a huge different shift in energy and flavor and tone than we've had for a very long time. Aquarian energy is very playful, liberating, wild, free, curious. It also illuminates all the fixed signs, including Scorpios, so it's going to feel a little bit more intimate, a little bit more powerful. And it's moving into your fourth house, which is a really hidden, intimate, home-based energy that is about things that happen behind the scenes, not the things that happen on the surface. And therefore, as we shift through this month, there's going to be a lot going on. Venus starts off in your sign and then moves into Sagittarius, into your second house, where what's self-love, what does it mean to value, nurture, love, and welcoming Venusian energy into our lives. This big Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. It's also eclipse season, and the eclipses are happening on November 30th in your 8th house with Gemini, and on December 14th in Sagittarius in your second house. So these are really big on weighing through the death and rebirth cycle. But the message that came through for me, with all of this in mind, with eclipse season and a huge shift in energy for Jupiter and Saturn, and the solstice as we enter Capricorn season, on the surface, the thing to keep in mind with December is on the surface, you can get caught up in all of those big waves, right? But the point with Scorpio is to go under the waves, which I already know you do this. You go under the waves to take a moment to be with your intimacy, with your healing, with the soft side of Scorps that exist. Like I know you guys pretty well. Not all of you, obviously, but the Scorpios I've had in my life have been people who have been very close to me and are very important to me. And you have some of the tenderest, softest, most beautiful hearts of anybody. And not everybody gets to see that because you guys can be very good at being performers and chameleons, and people can just see that side of yourself. But this month is calling on you to go all the way in to that deep, affectionate, loving place. And I know that can feel like a big challenge, right? Especially at the end of 2020, we're like wrapping up an extremely powerful bridge year that has asked us on a soul level to really connect in with deeper, kinder love, right? Like it has been a mastery level practice to go to that loving place and practice going there even when we're having a day where we do not feel like we are going there, right? But this month is about healing affectionate energy for you. This month is about reminding you that you are allowed to use your innate gifts. Scorpio, you have a gift to be able to tap into the unseen order of things, to tap into the emotive depth of something, and from that place to make huge practical changes, right? Like it's a magical alchemical process. Having a deep connection with Scorpio energy is one of the fastest ways to tap into this process, right? And this is a reminder that where maybe culture has taught you to put the shell on. 2 cards wanted to come out. 6 of Swords, Empress. Wow. Put the shell on. Put the armor on, get protected, and from there you'll be okay in the world. This month is coming back to that deeper knowing that has to do with you utilizing your gifts and that tenderness and that depth to access ease and joy and healing and connection. This month, big themes are going to be affection, intimacy. And this isn't always just about intimacy. Like, if you're not in here to talk about relationships, you want to talk about career, you want to talk about creativity, you just want to talk about your relationship to living, being physical in this life. Intimacy is not just about other people, right? Page of Wands. It's about the intimacy we have with ourselves as well. Can we have that intimacy with ourselves? Do we allow ourselves to have that? Do we allow ourselves to go to those places? Hierophant. Wow. Okay. So yeah, the focus is, it can be very easy to want to put the focus on the wide world around you and the energetic shifts and the collective. But underneath that, there's a theme for Scorpios around intimacy and healing from behind the scenes. And I don't think that means that there isn't forward motion. I'd say that absolutely means there's forward motion, right? For me, that's the number one sign. When we're getting intimate internally, we're getting into that healing, intimacy, affectionate mode, things are changing fast. The fact that the Six of Swords came up right away. To be fair, eclipse season for you all, I think, is going to be quite powerful. And it does mean healing. It does mean it's a great resource. We have eclipse season a couple of times a year, so this is not something that just like randomly happens, only sometimes. This consistently happens a couple times a year, so it's a check-in time. It's a time to effectively just kind of allow ourselves to shift gears, to acquaint ourselves with the next energetic phase. But it is a time to grieve, to find harmony, to find grace. The Six of Swords for me is so much about freeing ourselves from past shores by accepting those past shores for what they were and being willing to get in that boat to move forward, right? And so there's a shift going on here. There's a shift going on here from what you may have been working on for the last few years even, into space that has to do with I'm trying to find words for this. Into space that has to do with the unknown for you. It's really interesting for me because when the cards came out, the way they came out, it's like this boat is going straight toward the Empress. And the Empress is tied to Taurus, your opposing sign. One of the big things that is happening, we are heading into territory where the fixed signs are really going to be getting the huge shifts. And I'm excited about that. Some people are going to say, oh no, but this is exciting to me. And because Uranus is in Taurus, and we're going to have these two big planets, Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. So here we go. Your opposing sign of Taurus, the Empress, Uranus, right? This is about how we connect. It's electrifying relationships. It's electrifying self-love, affection, ease. And there's a really big thing coming on here, Scorps. I'm noticing as I'm sitting here with this energy more and more, because it's like I feel really tender sitting here talking about this actually. And when I tap into this energy, it's like it's really powerful. This is important for you to go toward this Empress energy. It's important for you to give yourself this grace. The Empress is about holding yourself, not in that rigid, scary place, but holding yourself in a soft space, right? This is about love and nurturing and healing and those beautiful things. And guess what? You're allowed to desire those things and to have those things. You're allowed to go there anytime you want. You're not in a prison of who you think you're supposed to be. And I think that's another big theme of December. Any of us who've kind of decided, okay, well, I've seen who I am in 2020, so I guess this is who I'm supposed to be. And I just sit here. That is not the case at all. Now, not only do we have the Six of Swords leading you forward, but we also have the Page of Wands. Now, this is playful energy. This is not heavy-hitting energy at all. Page of Wands to me is being willing to paint the painting, even if you haven't painted in 20 years and you know it's not going to really turn out good, and you don't really care because you are curious to see what happens. It's getting out the sidewalk chalk and drawing something on the driveway. It is going for something without really being concerned with how perfect you think it is. You know, Scorpios, I've noticed you tend to sometimes be a bit of perfectionists. You know, you really want things to be quality. You want things to be deeply powerful and moving and perfect. I think there's value in that, obviously, in the world. To have, you know, to have that conviction and to have that intensity and to have that focus is beautiful. However, it has a shadow side, and you know about it, which is that it can hold you back from accessing your joy. It can hold you back from accessing a playful part of yourself. That's really tapping on your window right now. It's the phone in the back room that's been ringing, and it starts off quietly. Maybe even it starts off as just the buzz. And then it's like a really loud ring. It's turning into a fire alarm because something wants your attention to go and play with it. And it's big. The thing that I would say is, you know, December is not asking you to do all the healing and to do all the affection and to do all the creative projects and be done and ta-da. It is asking you to plug into something much more long-term. You know, both Empress and Hierophant are actually Taurus cards. Your opposing sign, once again, really interesting to me. I often find that, you know, one of the things I love about working with astrology and symbolism is that, you know, whatever energy we're working on in life, like if you have a lot of Scorpio energy in your chart, often you're being asked to find balance. Not just like invest more deeply in who you are, you know, and who you came into this world as, but to find balance and curiosity about the counterpart to you, right? And so often we'll get our lessons via the sign that, you know, and that we maybe haven't connected with. And what's so interesting for me with the Hierophant and the Empress is that, one, these are very long-term energies. These are energies that speak to the next few years, you know, things that we're going to start to build here, but just start the process, just get the ball rolling just a little bit, just a tiny bit. And it's also speaking to the richness of this energy. You know, this energy is about giving yourself permission to do things a little easier. Find ways to make it so that life is a little bit more about play. Doesn't mean you're not going to be responsible or feel things deeply. I think that we have a lot of false dichotomies in our culture. Some things such as being responsible or feeling things deeply means that you have no fun and that is just a serious modality. To me, I think it can be so fun. Those can be such fun, beautiful, vibrant places of exploration and connection, right? And I think so often we want to put these things in their boxes and say, well, you know, either I have to be over here doing my healing, being serious, being overwhelmed, being responsible, being reflective, or I'm just going to be this irresponsible child that's doing nothing and doesn't care about anyone. And I find these strange dichotomies that they just don't even make sense to me. They're all one and the same thing. And so what I'm seeing here is this beautiful marriage between your transformation and finding some play and some joy. And to be honest, the Hierophant and the Empress are about infusions of new beginnings. They are about infusions of really deep, rich processes of you finding your empowerment in leading and teaching and creating and finding guidance in connecting to love, to abundance, to well-being. I mean, these are, you hear these words all the time. What do they even mean? What does it mean to be in well-being? What does it mean to be in abundance? It doesn't always mean, you have to be making $5 million a year. It often starts with just a mental state. However, these cards are quite supportive of you. They ask for one thing, and that is that Six of Swords, which is to be okay leaving behind a shore. And we do this all throughout our lives. This isn't something we do just once. I find I connect with Six of Swords energy regularly. Many, many times a year, there will be a point where I'm sitting there and I can feel myself pushing off from the shore that I've just been on, right? That whatever that project was, or that identity was, or that time frame was, where it's like, okay, like I can feel that I've shifted a little bit. I can feel that like what I was working on there, you just kind of let it go, right? That is the one asking of this month. And with that comes this beautiful flowering that I love to see. And you may feel tender. You may feel even exposed, vulnerable as you move through this energy. And I think that's a good sign. So I have some affirmations for you to take with you on this journey of December. Here we go. I feel nourished in my home environment and the hidden behind the scenes actions I take. I allow wisdom to bubble up from my sensitive core to guide me. I say yes to the things I really mean. It's okay to rest and observe sometimes. I just remembered that I put in the saying yes to things that I really mean, and how important it is to be impeccable with your word. As the Four Agreements always states, it's, I think, one of my favorite agreements. It's one that I've struggled with personally the most, I think. But being impeccable with your yeses and nos, being impeccable with saying what you really mean, not feeling like you have to play a role all the time, not feeling like you have to keep everything together all the time. There's a lot of power and beauty in that. And I hope you just take care of your tender, sensitive selves and love on that, and find that joy in that again, because I think it has so much value in this world. And we need the Scorpio healing in this world. And Scorpios that allow themselves to like full flowering of that are some of the most beautiful, that's some of the most beautiful energy that we have in the world. So I would love to see that. I will be doing that deep dive for Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius over on Patreon. We'll also be doing some exercises, just getting associated with Aquarian energy. As a Leo sun, Mars and Mercury, the Aquarius energy is going to be asking a lot, so I'll be riding that wave with the fixed signs. But I'd love to see you over on Patreon. You can also find me on my website and my Instagram, so I'll leave all of those links in the description box. And of course, I'm wearing PinkLune's tourmaline. You can find all of her beautiful jewelry on her Etsy shop. I will leave her link below. I love you all so much, and it's been a real pleasure sitting here with you today. I hope to see you next month for more, and click to subscribe and like this video. I'd love for you to stick around. I'll talk to you so soon.